What the fuck is up? Welcome back. My name is Noah Hills. You can find me on Twitter at noahmoreparties. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down some rushing yardage props over on PrizePicks. And we got the draft guide out, dropped a couple weeks ago, rookie draft guide. I contributed a lot of it. Nick contributed a lot of it. Probably a lot of, the best, most in-depth like film, data, analysis for dynasty leagues, redraft leagues, rookie drafts. And if you deposit at PrizePicks, you're going to get a deposit match if you use promo code BDGE, and you're also going to get the draft guide for free. So, exploit these rushing yards props, get the draft guide for free, win your leagues. Let's do it. Okay, kind of how the rushing yards props or all the kind of NFL futures props works on PrizePicks is there's multiple options here, and you can like package them together sort of like a parlay, and either you can choose to do like a what's called a power play, where you got to go 2 for 2, you got to go 3 for 3, or you can do a flex play where you still pick 2, 3, 4, 5 players, but you don't have to get all of them right in order to win money. And so I'm going to be going through, I've got 5 players here. I'm going to walk you through these, my 5 favorite rushing yards props over at PrizePicks right now. And the first one is Breece Hall. His rushing yards prop right now is at 800.5 yards. And let's kind of just like dive in based on where he was drafted, where have other rookie running backs fallen in the last few years. And guys who were the first running back drafted in the last 5 years are Najee Harris, who went for 1,200 yards in his rookie season, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who went for 803 yards in his rookie season, Josh Jacobs, who went for 1,150 yards in his rookie season, Saquon Barkley went for 1,307, Leonard Fournette went for 1,040, Zeke went for 1,631, Gurley went for 1,106, and we got to go all the way back to Bishop Sankey in 2014 to find a guy who did not hit this rushing yards prop among the first running back drafted as rookies. That's Bishop Sankey. He only had 569 rushing yards as a rookie. Breece Hall's prop is 800.5. Every running back since Bishop Sankey, who was the first guy taken in the draft, has hit that prop. And even if you just look at guys who were like picked within 3 picks of where Breece Hall went, like some of these guys, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was taken in the first round. Josh Jacobs was taken in the first round. Saquon Barkley was second overall. If we want to say like, okay, we can't compare Breece Hall to them, he was a second round pick. Let's look at guys who were also, kind of similarly valued second round picks in the NFL draft. Nick Chubb, 996 yards. DeAndre Swift only had 521. Javonte Williams, 903. TJ Yeldon, 740 yards. Gio Bernard, 695. And then we go to Ronald Jones, who basically did nothing. He had 44 yards. Ryan Williams got hurt, had 0 yards. But we got like Nick Chubb, Javonte Williams, who both hit this prop. TJ Yeldon was within 60 yards. Giovanni Bernard was within 105 yards. This is Breece Hall. Like, he's better than TJ Yeldon. He's better than Giovanni Bernard. He's much more comparable to like a Javonte Williams, Nick Chubb level prospect here. Landed in a good spot with the Jets where he should get a lot of work. And as we've seen from like the first running back taken in the last, almost 10 years, the best running back in the draft is hitting this prop. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been a huge disappointment. He hit this. There have been 100 running backs in the last 5 years who had at least 800 rushing yards in a single season. That's an average of 20 per year. Do we think that Breece Hall is going to be a top 20 runner in the NFL? I do. There have been 16 running backs in the last 5 years who were rookies and had at least 800 rushing yards. That's an average of 3 per year. Do we think that Breece Hall is going to be one of the top 3 rushers among rookie running backs? I do. I'm smashing the over here. And if I'm going to parlay this, a 2x2 power play for 3xing my money, I'm going with Kenneth Walker. His prop is 550.5. And the Seahawks are going to be bad. I've been on record. I made a Kenneth Walker video a couple weeks ago talking about like this landing spot in Seattle, how I think he's being a little bit overdrafted if you're taking him at the 102 in rookie drafts. Kind of wait and see how this shakes out with Rashad Penny. 550.5, I'm taking the over on this. Like, Kenneth Walker might not be a 1,000-yard rusher. He might not return value at where he's going in like dynasty, in rookie drafts right now as a rookie. But I think 550.5 rushing yards, he's going over that. And the Seahawks are going to be really bad. But let's look at the bottom 10 offenses from last season and what their running backs, their lead backs did as far as rushing yards go. The Texans had less than 1,200 rushing yards as a team. Rex Burkhead was the lead runner, 427 yards. The Dolphins had right around 1,300 yards. Myles Gaskin had 612. That would beat this prop. The Falcons had right around 1,300 rushing yards. Cordero Patterson had 616 yards. That would beat this prop. The Giants had just under 1,300 rushing yards. Both Saquon Barkley and Devontae Booker would have beaten this prop with 593 apiece. The Panthers had less than 1,300 rushing yards. Chuba Hubbard had 612 as their leading rusher. He would have beat this prop. The Saints had less than 1,300 rushing yards. Alvin Kamara had almost 900 himself. He would have smashed this. The Jaguars had 1,200 rushing yards. J-Rob beat this. The Jets last year had 1,360 rushing yards. Michael Carter beat this prop. The Bears had 1,450 rushing yards. David Montgomery had almost 900. He would have beat this prop. And obviously the Steelers were a bad offense, just over 1,300 rushing yards as a team. Najee Harris went over 1,000. He had 1,200 rushing yards. I'm smashing the over on this. Even if this is a two-man split between Kenneth Walker and Rashad Penny, which I view as more of a possibility than most people do, even if that's the case, I'd be shocked if Kenneth Walker doesn't get at least 550 rushing yards this season. Smash the over, power play this with Breece Hall, 3x your money, hit 2 for 2. If you want to add a third guy into the mix, you could power play 3x3 to 5x your money. You could flex play these 3, and if you hit 3 out of 3 there, you 2.25x your money. Or even if you only get 2 of them, you still 1.25x your money. All you got to do is hit 2 of them out of 3 to make your money back. I'm hitting Joe Mixon, 11,125.5 yards. I'm hitting the over. He's had 3 seasons where he's played at least 14 games since his rookie year. He's hit the over in all 3 of those seasons. There's no reason to think that the Bengals should regress based on what they've been. They might not be as good as they were last year, but they were much better last year than they have been. So even if they revert to what they were, which there's no reason to think they will, but even if they do, Joe Mixon's been an elite runner in that poor situation. There's no reason to think he can't do it again. Smashing the over here. The only way Joe Mixon doesn't hit this is if he gets hurt. If you want to 4x4, we're adding another prop here. And this is where I got to put my hater hat on because I'm taking the under on this next guy. Derrick Henry, 1,450.5 rushing yards. I'm taking the under. He did this in 2019 and 2020. He was over this prop, and he was on pace for it last year before he got hurt. A bet on the over in this situation is a bet on Derrick Henry's health. A bet on him being A, active, and B, consistently effective. And last year was his least effective season from a per-touch standpoint and his least healthy season of his entire career going back at least to his rookie year. And Derrick Henry is one of the best running backs ever, but 1,400 yards is a lot of yards to take the over on for a guy who, like I just said, was hurt last year, was relatively ineffective relative to how good he's been his career, but was relatively ineffective from a per-touch basis last year, and is getting a little bit older. It's harder and harder to take the over, to believe in Derrick Henry defying the odds. I'm taking the under on this one. You can power play it with the 3 before it. 4x4, you'll 10x your money. Flex play 4x4, you'll 5x. Or even if you just hit 3 of them, you'll 1.5x your money. And if you want to add 5, if you're feeling dangerous, you want to add a 5th prop here to the parlay, I'm going with Antonio Gibson and keeping my hater hat on, taking the under on Antonio Gibson's rushing yards prop. It's 1,050.5 yards. In 2020, he had 795 yards. In 2021, he had 1,037 yards. So he's never hit this before. And they just drafted Brian Robinson in, what was it, the 3rd round? And we don't know what exactly his role looks like, but only 5 guys in the league had more than 1,050 rushing yards last year, had more than it would have beaten this prop last year. We've had an average of 8 guys do that per year in the last 5 years. And do I think that Antonio Gibson is going to have the 8th most rushing yards in the league, even the 5th most rushing yards in the league next year, with Brian Robinson in the mix, with JD McKissick back? It seems like they want him to be in more of a committee situation, maybe the lead back of a committee, but they're going to dial back his usage. Brian Robinson is a more traditional, between the tackles runner. Antonio Gibson is best used out in space. He's a good athlete. He's a receiver. J.D. McKissick has some of that role, but I don't think they want to use Antonio Gibson as some sort of 3-down workhorse here. They want to complement him with other role-playing pieces. I'm taking the under on 1,050. You could flex play that 5x5 to 10x your money, 4 out of 5 to 2x your money, and 3 out of 5 to just 0.4x your money, but still get something back. So go ahead and deposit on PrizePicks, have them double your money for you on the deposit bonus, and get the draft guide for free. There's no downside here. The least you can do is have fun you know, missing out on some props, but you know, you spend what, like 10, 15, 20 bucks, get the draft guide for free, you probably win your leagues anyway, even if you lose in the rushing props. So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking the over on Breece Hall, taking the over on Kenneth Walker, taking the over on Joe Mixon, and I'm taking the under on both Derrick Henry and Antonio Gibson. Thanks for checking out the video. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, leave a comment because it's good for the algorithm, you know, and catch me in the next video. Peace.